Like, I feel like if I would have left it on, I probably really would have been able to be more perceptive of the people that I did not need to have in my life and that I did not need to be around. But if y'all listen to the whole entire conversation that I was having with the new neighbor that just moved in, thank you for listening, because honestly, I kind of forgot, and I know I would mention you guys, but I kind of forgot that I was on a live, like talking live, and y'all was enjoying the whole entire conversation. But I'm gonna see if I definitely bring her back on the podcast to do an actual episode with her. And yeah, I'll record it to YouTube, okay? So don't look at me that way. I will record it for y'all suckers too, alright? Don't feel left out just because I'm giving the podcast some love, okay? Let me stop talking to y'all like some little kids. But, so, like I was saying before everything, went flippity-floppity, Delano did not want to embrace, Booker didn't want to embrace his autism. And I had to really, sit down and break it up to him.
You know the next thing to break up is your wheelchair, right?
Okay. But I had to, let him know, ain't nothing wrong with being different. It just makes you special because it makes you unique. You see the world in a different way. You don't see the world the way everybody else does. And that doesn't mean that you're broken. That doesn't mean that you're good for nothing. That doesn't mean that you're never going to amount to anything.
Actually, the word they used was mistake.
Finish what I was saying? The word that I used was a mistake?
The word that they used.
But I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about what I was saying to him.
Oh.
So you just cut me off.
Sorry, because for some reason I forgot to tell you that word specifically, it does trigger him, but in a weird
The word
way.
mistake?
Because they used it a lot for him.
Come a little closer. You're talking a little too low. What do you mean they used it a lot for him?
That's what his dad said.
His donor, you mean?
Yeah, his donor. He said if he ever had anything wrong like he does...
Move from the door before you close it, Koa. Baba is outside.
Pretty much if he embraces who he is, embraces that he actually has things going on, and actually acknowledges it, then that means he's a mistake and should have never been born.
Wait. Pause. Rewind.
I don't
Pause.
know.
1 second, please. Be as calm as possible when I ask my question. I'm not gonna let myself get agitated or triggered. I'm gonna be in total, complete control of my mental status. My child, my only son, was told by the person that gave birth to me and by the sperm donor that donated to create him that if he ever embraced any part of him, that he was a mistake?
They tried saying it in a way that they thought we wouldn't understand for the fact that we were young, and they already knew we had something going on. So they thought we were stupid enough not to understand, but at the same time hoping that we would understand. But yeah, pretty much. And that's also how Delano interpreted it, because after that, and I took him to the side, check if he was okay, that's what he interpreted it as, pretty much. Life or death. That's also why now we had to break him, because he finally is at the point where he needs to be snapped back in reality, because they were driving him. If it wasn't for the fact that I was there for him, and then the times you come back and not come back, let me phrase, the times that you were there for us, and
wait, when she says I was there, that means because I wasn't at work, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't think I was out partying and being a hoe or a thought or nothing like that. I was out making the money at CVS and out making the money at Cheese Boy, because I was a supervisor for the front and a supervisor for the pharmacy at CVS, and then I was a supervisor at Cheese Boy.
And then before that, school jobs too.
But I'm just saying, I work, okay, and I busted my ass.
And so you were the only one that brought in the money, because neither of them even put in any cent or anything.
I got you. But go ahead, finish.
But yeah, when you were at work and stuff, and I was there for him, it wasn't for the fact of that. And like I said, I made him make that promise that if the day comes and I can no longer keep all of his secrets, like today.
Like you told me, yeah.
If I can no longer keep all his secrets, because I have to choose either saving him from drowning in darkness and drowning in them, their mindset, which is really killing him from the inside out, and help you in that way because he, didn't understand. Because I just thought he needed time, but everything that happened added on to it. So unfortunately, it was time to make that promise, to do what I told him to promise me. If that time comes, and when I break him, to not let it break like how I used to break, I made him promise. Because I know I can't push him to a certain extent. And I knew that, and I also told him there are some things you're going to be pushed to the extent of. I don't want to be the one to push you there. So, but then one day I'm going to need to be really not like the big sister you know now, which is kind, fun, and loving, but a really different kind of loving, a really hard type of loving that's going to have to snap you back to reality. Because it's a lot harder in the world than he thought at the time. And it was already beating him up to have, when you weren't at home and at work, that was already beating him up enough. So I made him promise that time comes to not take it as I'm trying to break you like them, but I'm trying to break you to snap you, pretty much like a big slap in the face and wake up. You're not being you. Like, come back to reality. Snap back up. Like, hello, what are you doing? You're losing yourself. You're losing your mind. That's pretty much, but that pretty much was what happening. Because once he lost himself, he lost his mind.
You're right, you did. Because how can you have a mind if you don't know yourself?
And he was so busy trying to keep himself, hence why he hit banging his phone. Hence why, that's also why I'm with you on the not taking the phone away, but I'm not with you on it because I know the phone is his only source of world, because that was a safe zone from his donor and from the woman, because they didn't care as long as we weren't moving still. As long as we weren't moving around, we weren't asking for, as long as we acted like we weren't even there, like we never existed. They were fine with that, as long as that. And the only way for him to do that was if he had electronics. So they really didn't care. So that was his safe zone. So,
did Papa ever come down? You may have to put Koa back, because if the girls were going to come stay here, we have to have the door open. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but they were like, I don't know how we're going to make that work.
We can put Koa in the bathroom.
That's what I was going to say, you're going to have to put Koa in the bathroom.
Okay.
So that the door can, his lyrical's upstairs. But, so Delano, Booger just couldn't accept him,
he can't accept that he has mental problems, autism, and that you're in a wheelchair.
So he cannot accept that he has mental problems, autism, and that I'm in a wheelchair. And
he thinks it's all his fault.
And he believes that it is all his fault.
Including the wheelchair.
Including the wheelchair. I don't see how he played a part in me ending up in the wheelchair, but I'm going to have to figure out how his mind thought that. But he didn't want to embrace his autism. He doesn't want to embrace none of this. But now I just found out that the reason why you don't want to embrace your autism or anything else is because what was being told to you by your donor. Like, that's messed up as a parent. How do you tell a child that you embrace who you are because they have disabilities that you're going to kill them? Like, how do you do that?
I don't know, because we didn't even get... You know how we ask to understand things, questions? Yeah, you know how we ask questions when we don't understand things? At that particular time, neither one of them. Grandma just did her normal way of trying to brush us off, like gave us some candy or something just for us to go away. And Sanjay just snapped at Delano and I got mad at him, so I was like, fudge you, and we left.
What you do with my garbage can?
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Oh, I can't see that something behind me. Sorry.
So, yeah. And I think I apologized later to you because you told us not to go to the park, but that was a special occasion.
Alright.
And you were fine with it because you saw how Delano's face was afterwards. We just didn't tell you why. Because, like I said, we didn't... One, I wasn't sure myself, and two, Delano didn't want to say
Stop hitting the wall, please!
Sorry. Didn't want me to say nothing either. Especially because we were both not sure. It's one thing for him not to be sure, but if I was not sure, he was really like, I don't wanna. So I wasn't gonna push him.
Where is Nicole?
Yep, like I said, she's up there.
So she's up there playing?
Yep. And 2 adults are watching.
Alright,
And
can
older.
just ask her if it's okay if Lyrical plays upstairs then, since she don't seem to want to come back down, so we can know, or we can leave the door open, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not that I don't think they're gonna do it. It's not that I think they're gonna. I'm just really overprotective of my kids. Like, really overprotective of my kids, man. If I feel like if I don't protect them, ain't nobody else gonna protect them. Shoot, and I already feel like I already did damage, and I'm not trying to have no more damage done. I'm trying to repair the damage that has been done. But yeah, so that conversation with my son really broke me earlier, because I felt like, wow, how do you carry so much guilt for something that you are not even responsible for, you know? And I had to really sit there and break down to him, I don't love you any less, or you're not any less lovable, you don't matter any less, or you are not any less relevant because you're autistic or because you have disabilities. That doesn't mean anything. That just means that you're just special. You see things differently than the way we do. You know, you approach things differently than the way we do. And that doesn't mean you're broken. It does not mean you're broken in no shape, way, or form, or that you're never going to amount to anything. I mean, but when I was saying these words at that time, I didn't even know that his donor had said what he said to him. You know, I hadn't heard about that until afterwards. And that really broke my heart, you know. And then I made the mistake of moving and not letting him know beforehand. So I just took him out of the state of Connecticut, took him out of everything that we've known our whole life, and moved him to a completely different state, and didn't explain to him, you know, what had happened and why I had to do that. So he was apparently holding on these 3.5 years. That move was his fault, that I left the state of Connecticut because of him. And I did not mean for my son to carry that burden. I did not mean for my son to carry that weight. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely not because of him, and it was definitely not anything that he did. Contrary, I was trying to protect and save my children from the toxicity that we were in, from the unsafe environment mentally and physically, from dealing with everything that we were dealing with. And at that time, I was on survival mode. You know, it was either me or them. Not me or my kids, but me or my egg donor and my ex-husband. Like, I had to pick my sanity, and my sanity was me and my kids. And for once in my life, I had to do something for them. Not for my mother, not for the woman that birthed me that doesn't deserve for me to put her first. I had to do it for my kids. And leaving was my way of attempting to do better and do right by them. And it was my way of attempting to put them first. It just turned out that where we went was not the best place to go. And the person that was supposed to help us and be our support system turned out not to be that. And we've just been trying to get on our feet since. You know, living the motel life is not cute. It is not cute. It is definitely not easy. It is not simple. It is hard, especially when you have roaches and rats. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to cope with and deal with, and then you can't physically go work a job like you're used to. I'm so used to just going to go get, oh, okay, this is what I'm going through. I need extra money for this. My kids need that. You know what I'm saying? My kids need this. My kid, this hair, this gel, this thing I put in my hair for my curls. Well, you did do a good job with my curls. My curls are nice. But sorry y'all. I was looking at myself in the camera. My bad. I got so sidetracked. Sorry. I was loving me for a minute. But I didn't want my son to have that burden. And that burden bothered me, and that's why I had gotten on the Wisdom app to have, you know, those conversations, which was a beautiful 4-hour talk that we were having, right, Beba? It was like a long talk, but it was great. It was amazing. It was like Beba talked so much, and Beba gave so many inspirational, like, quotes and messages. Like, it was a bomb just to see her with her high-functioning autism, like, resonate with what I was talking about, and resonate with what I was doing, and do her own little coaching, you know, to the people that were listening. And that was like an amazing experience to see. And I don't even have a recording of it because Wisdom took it down, only because my 4-year-old talked. Like, who does that? You're trying to keep a community. I understand that, but my child only said hi. She wasn't listening to anybody talk. I was the only one talking on the episode. Like, I feel like that was just a little dramatic and a little over the top. And now all that amazing information and content that I gave, I can't even share it with my podcast. I can't share it with my YouTube family. I can't share it with anybody because they took it off. And that just made me feel like I just wasted my whole entire time. But I didn't, because the 91 people that I was talking to were there. They resonated with me. They were listening. They were participating. And they were there. And that's all that matters. And I'm not going to let it bring me down. Right, Linette? We're not going to let it bring us down. Okay? Okay. All right. We got this. We're bomb. We're doing this. Let me stop. But yeah, so I was like, okay, so they just wanted to, end my conversation when I wasn't done. And they just want to take it off. And I'm just going to go on my actual podcast then. And that's what I was like, let me just do a live. I'm like, Beba, you gonna do the live with me? Beba was like, sure, I guess. I'm like, well, shoot, let's do it. Because I liked having a talk with her. I liked having her jump in and give her point of view or give her little inspirational message. Because it just shows the world. Delano, I'm recording. It just shows the world that, what's up? Yeah, it just shows the world that, kids with disabilities and with autism and all that other stuff can actually do things like other kids. It shows that you can, strive for your kids to do more, do better, function higher. It just all depends on how you raise them. Just because they have a disability does not mean that disability defines who they are. It does not mean that disability breaks them or makes them. It just means that they see the world differently and they function in this world differently. So you just have to function around them. So that they can grow, so that they can be better, so that they can be productive adults, so that they can have an amazing future, an amazing opportunity. Like, why would we want to raise our kids with all these limitations? And then what happens after you die? They're stuck living in a state home because they can't function. Now, if your kids have less abilities than mine do, then that's understandable that it's going to be different, but you can still strive to what their abilities are able to allow them to do. Like, give them those goals. Don't just knock it down. I mean, they may not be able to run like everybody else, and they may not be able to walk like everybody else. They may not be able to talk like everybody else. They may not be able to write like everybody else. They may not be able to draw like everybody else. But that don't mean that they can't do something amazing in their own way. That don't mean that they can't be somebody amazing in their own way. You just have to find that, and you have to bring that out in them. That's what's called being a parent. It's called being a parent. It's called actually parenting. And when it comes to situations like mine, I really wish that people like my children's fathers, the two older fathers, just to be more clear, for in case if anybody's listening and wants to run to the other one and say the complete opposite of what I said, let me clarify this for you to YouTube, because I don't think I have issues when it comes to the podcast, but I think you guys are the bigger issue. Let me clarify this. I am talking about my two older children's father. Okay? Mr. Watson and Mr. Sistrom. That is who I am talking about. I am not talking about the other one. Alright, now that has been set clear in stone, and we have a clear understanding of who I am discussing, I can get on with my story. Damn, I think I see the crack in my tooth. Anyway, sorry people, I didn't mean to show y'all my messed up tooth, my bad. But they are people who, I am sorry to say, should not be having children. Because for you to tell that your child that he cannot accept his disabilities, or if he was, you're gonna kill him, like, excuse me, or because he's a mistake, or whatever the case was, like, excuse me, that is not parenting. How is that parenting? How are you making that child thrive? How are you having that child grow? You're not. So then why, you don't have no business having no kids. You don't have no business out here slinging anything or accepting sling. None of it. However you want to put it. Strap up them underwear and keep them closed tight. Because at the end of the day, if you're not ready to be nobody's parent, then you have no business out here having fun, acting like you want to create one. Because in the moment you do create one, then it's a problem. Then it's, what am I going to do? I can't believe this. How did this happen? Well, it called, you opened your legs and you allowed the snake to come in. Should have kept the snake out, they wouldn't have this problem. And if the snake would have stayed inside its underwear and never found the cave, you definitely wouldn't have this issue. Me and my darn metaphors. Oh my God. I be coming up with the dumbest things in the world, yo. And they just be cracking me up, but they keep me going. They keep me striving, they keep me doing better. But, so, yeah, some people just don't have no business having kids. If you're not about to allow your child to thrive, if you're not about to give your child the best, or whatever they can get, like, you know what I'm saying, and be there present 100% and show up as yourself, and not as your mental health or your disability or your anger or whatever the case may be, but actually parent as yourself, your child will thrive. No matter what they have going on, they will thrive. And if they don't have nothing going on, they're going to thrive a hell of a lot better than what they have been thriving. And you're going to be amazed with all the abilities and capabilities of what they can and can't do. But you have to show up. You have to be present. You have to invest. You have to take time. You have to understand that when you decided to become a parent, yeah, it becomes about your child, not about you. Yeah, you still have to have self-love and self-worth and self-care, confidence, and all that amazing stuff. But you also have to make sure that you're raising an amazing little person that's going to become an amazing adult. And I call them a little person because at the end of the day, some of these kids have more soul and more knowledge than half of these adults do. Some of these kids have more wisdom than half of these adults do. And that's sad. But you can tell an old soul in a little body. And that's why I call them little people. Because the rest of them just have to catch up to what they already are. And that's what we're supposed to do as parents. Raise amazing adults. How are we raising amazing adults if we're not showing up as ourselves and being amazing? I didn't show up as myself a lot of times because I didn't accept myself. I too fell under the same syndrome that my son did. I too fell under, you know what I'm saying, mental health has this stigma. Why would I want to be that? Why would I want to be tagged to that? Why would I want to be a member of that community? Why? I wear my badge with pride now. I wear my badge with pride. I'm part of the mental health community and I embrace it. It's a part of who I am. It doesn't make me or break me. It doesn't mean I'm damaged. It doesn't mean I ain't good for nothing. It don't mean that I'm rotten. None of this stuff. Like, it just means that I see the world differently. I handle things differently. I deal with things differently. I process things differently. That don't mean that I can't have thriving relationships or thriving life, period. That don't mean none of that. My diagnoses, my conditions, the suits that I wear, the person in me, who I am, that is all because of what I allow. The power that I give it is what seeps out. If I give into it, then yeah, you're going to see the crazy side of me. But if I talk to myself and I let myself know that I'm way bigger than that and I'm way better than that and I can thrive way more than that and I have control of everything and nothing happens unless I decide or choose, and I keep letting myself, I'm safe, I'm okay, and I got this, I can be a productive member of this society without having to wild out. I can be a productive member of this society without having to cuss anybody out. I can be a productive member of society without having to go try to whoop somebody's ass because you pissed me off. I could be a productive member of society and still hold my self-respect and my self-worth and not let nobody interfere with what I have done with my own mental health. Why would I give anyone the power to do that? So much less I'm going to give the conditions the power to do that. I'm going to do what I'm going to do to thrive. I'm going to do what I can do to thrive. I'm going to do whatever it takes to thrive. But guess what? It takes accepting you. It takes you accepting you. You can't expect other people to understand you, expect you, support you, be there for you, ride or die for you, pick up that phone when you're on that ledge and walk you off that ledge if they don't understand you or know you. And I know this is off of the Delano topic, and I'm sorry. Probably didn't even finish that one, but the Delano topic brought everything else that I'm talking about now. You have to accept and embrace who you are and love you for you, flaws and all. And baby, they're not flaws and they're not mistakes. Let me tell you that right now. I'm going to take that back, okay? I'm gonna take that back. You gotta love yourself. Every aspect of yourself. They're not flaws. They're not mistakes. Every little broken piece that you think you have, when it's put together, it creates you, baby. It makes who you are, sweetie. It is who you are. It's who you're looking in the mirror. The moment you don't embrace one piece of you, envision yourself missing a piece of your nose or a piece of your eye or a piece of your cheek. Because you're taking away pieces of who you are. You're taking away pieces of what make you you. What makes you genuine, unique, magnificent, royalty, amazing, fantastic, beautiful, bright, intelligent, hardworking, loving, compassionate, empathetic, humane. All them pieces together make you, and that's who you are. So stop. Stop not embracing any piece of that. Take control. Put your hand on that steering wheel, baby. Put your hand on that steering wheel. Drive that car. You take control. You decide who shows up. You decide who talks. You decide what goes on. Not your mental health, not your disabilities. And okay, let's take it away from mental illness. Okay, let's take it away from mental illness a little bit. You guys know, or y'all should know, if y'all listen to my podcast, or if y'all have watched my YouTube videos, that I am in need of a wheelchair. And I have my own permanent wheelchair. My favorite color, too, purple. Because she's my wheels. She's my car. She's my ride or die. She's the way that I can get around when my legs decide that they can't do it no more. Okay? I have yet to come to full terms with this. That's why I don't bring it up much. That's why I don't talk about it much. I am still internally processing this wheelchair issue. So whenever I can't do something, right? If I want to get up, excuse me. Let's say the house is really messed up, right? And I can't take it no more. My OCD is like ready to flip. I literally can see myself throwing everything outside and just saying, fuck it. Fuck it. 2 tears in a bucket. Okay? But I know I can't do that, y'all. Because, I mean, if I could, I'd be so damn happy, yo. Having nothing. Have a clean house. I'd be a happy camper. But, anyways. When I try to do things, you feel me? Because I don't want all the pressure on my daughter. And I be thinking my legs are cool that day to let me do certain things. And the moment that I try, my legs be like, nah, boo, I'm sorry. HR denied your request. And they said today is a no leg day. So sit your ass down. And then I have to go sit my ass down. My bipolar, my OCD, my PTSD, my depression, everything, my suicidal thoughts, everything comes to life. See? That's why your kids are better off without you. See? That's why you just need to call it quits. This is what I'm saying to myself in my mind. See? That's why you need to call it quits. Your kids are way better off without you. You're harming them more than you're helping them. Look at what you got them living in a motel with rats. You can't even get them out of here. You can't even go to work. How are you going to do this? You got a nail shop, a press-on nail business, but you ain't selling nothing. All that marketing that you're doing and all that advertising that you're doing, and you only sold 2 sets, and that's it? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to thrive? How are you going to succeed? Oh, now you got the audacity to open a coaching business? Now you of all people, you with mental illness, you crazy. You certified crazy. You got papers. You really think you going to help another certified crazy person or another mental illness person or another parent or another supporter or whatever, whoever they are? Like, these are all the things that start coming to life. Start coming to life in my mind. That don't let me function. But guess what I do? Guess what Linette does? Linette goes, thank you, but no thank you. Puts her hands back on the steering wheel and consumes to drive. Why? Because she's going to take control. She's going to decide what's going to affect her and what's not going to affect her. She's going to decide what is going to be the thing to push her into the edge and what isn't. Like I was saying before in the Wisdom app, which I wish I would have recorded. I really regret not recording so y'all could have heard all of this. But I cannot afford to end up in nobody's mental health institution because I don't have anyone in this state that can stay with my kids. So I cannot end up in nobody's psych ward. I have to do anything that I can to not let myself break mentally, because then it's going to be downhill and a really horrible thing after that. So I have no choice. Start warming up dinner. So I have no choice but to, darn it, Beba. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Thanks, Beba.
About lyrical.
Love you, Beba.
Love you too.
It was all your fault. You did this to me. You're not even putting no input on this live, but you have the audacity to interrupt.
Well, sorry, I spaced out for a minute, okay? Actually, more than a minute. I was interested in a pretty white dragon.
Congratulations for being interested in a pretty white dragon, but you interrupted my flow.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I'm gonna accept this apology because it don't sound sincere.
Well, it's hard to sound sincere when you sounding like that.
When I'm sounding like what? I gotta mess with you.
Don't complain when I do it back.
Girl, you better not mess with me or I'm gonna knock you out. You better be ready for this sucker punch I'm gonna give you. Don't be playing with me, girl.
You better be ready to Delano because I'm using my shield.
Don't be playing with me, girl. I may not have 100% of legs, but this wheelchair can rise. It can rise.
But it can't rise enough to get upstairs.
Don't shut up. Word. So you gonna use my own disability against me, and you gonna run up the steps to get away from me?
Sure.
That's so dirty of you.
Or I could always go back to the back and see how bad your wheelchair goes behind there and your OCD will be.
Word. You see that on YouTube? Y'all see this podcast? Y'all hear this? This girl just sat here and told me she gonna use my own disability against me, y'all. And I'm already being vulnerable with y'all and telling y'all that my disability is a big problem to me. And she over here about to use it against me. Ain't that some dirty ass shit?
Tell me, if you had to save your tail, if you had to save your children's tail, would you not?
I would, but that don't mean I can use your disability against you.
Even if grandma was the one with it?
So see, what had happened was I had a temporary moment of insanity. Hold on, let me explain what happened to the first one before we get to the second one, okay? There was a temporary moment of insanity right there, right? And I'm gonna probably have to plead the fifth on that one. You feel me? Next one?
Sandra.
Temporary moment of insanity there, and I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on that one. Next one?
My donor.
Temporary moment of insanity for sure, and I'm definitely gonna have to plead the fifth on that one.
Can I use that in this equation?
Can you use that in this equation? Hell no, you copycat! Come up with your own shit!
Why? You don't.
You are not about to take my words that I just gave you and use them back on me.
No, I expect to use Dad in that equation.
Oh, you're not about to use Dad in that equation either. No, fool, he is not here. He ain't teaching you none of that crap. Nope, you use yourself.
I'm talking about an equation with Grandma and Sanjay.
Why are my handles not locked?
They're not locked?
No, I just lifted this up.
That is strange because we never, ever, ever unlock them.
Sorry, you guys. Hold on. I think I got it now. Nope. Nope. This one isn't locked either because this one's going up also. Or is it because when the wheelchair lays back?
Maybe.
That's probably why. Duh, Linette. But you'd be the only dummy to try to lift your armrest. I lift them both up at the same time, and that's what made me notice that why they not locked in.
We must never let Lyrical know this.
Okay. Not a problem.
Because you know how that's gonna go.
My lips are sealed.
Good thing we found out while she was gone, huh?
Correct. But I don't know what made me lift it, to be honest with you. I was just...
Oh, well, maybe you had one of the urges me and Delano had. For some reason, we like to play with our armrests like this, but sometimes we forget to let go and, pull. But then you're like, oh, but you do it without thinking.
Maybe I have autism like y'all and I just don't know it, but I was not diagnosed.
Oh, that wasn't not the autism part. That's I'm gonna think the ADHD because we do that when we're trying to stay still.
So it's the ADHD. Oh yeah, because I do have a lot of energy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would yeah. Because I was shaking my legs like crazy, and I'm like, why the hell is my wheelchair shaking? Duh, woman, you're shaking it yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, relax. It's like all of a sudden I got this burst of energy, and I want to talk at like 50,000 miles per hour. But if I know that if I talk 50,000 miles per hour, you guys that are listening on the other side are not really gonna be able to understand anything that I'm saying because I talk really fast. That felt good. It felt so good to talk that fast. It felt so good to talk that fast. I felt like I just got a burst of energy out of me by just talking that fast.
And folks, only if you're in families that speak that fast will you know. Or know people
You gotta talk a little louder because you're talking a little too low.
Well, I'm sorry.
You're still talking too low. Girl, shut up. I don't like you. Go away.
Okay, bye.
No, don't go away. Don't leave me. I was playing. Don't be that cruel to me. Please, just love me some more. Love me some more. Don't do that to me. Yo,
lucky, my mom.
This ADHD today has been on high. Because it has me all goofy.
Well, you've been in the depression for days.
No, I've been in depression for months.
Yeah, I rephrased months.
I've been in a depression that I can't get out of for months. I'm just trying to walk myself out of it somehow.
For days, I don't know if you noticed, but you've been in a worse depression than what you've been in for months. And that's why I got confused. That's why I confused with my word with days, because there was a slight change a couple of days ago.
Oh, where? I ate dinner because I'm about to do my girls hot dogs and chips, something simple.
Oh no, she hasn't eaten yet.
Is it okay if she eat hot dogs?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
I don't want nobody to get my child stuff out.
I know what you mean.
I did a popsicle.
It's okay.
It's in a closed container.
Oh, okay. Thank you. What was the other? What were we saying?
You've been in a deeper depression than usual than the last few months that you've been in a regular depression.
Correct.
And now I also know the difference.
How do you know the difference?
You're more bipolar.
I'm more bipolar.
You're my bipolar, and unfortunately, you've noticed it. You just don't realize it's the. It's like you're fighting against the family. You went through a ton of this before. The only
you know why?
difference is.
Oh shit! Oh shit! You know why I think it is? I don't know if you were listening the other day when I was doing a wisdom talk on the app, and I was saying how. Hold on, I gotta take this sweater off. I was saying how I have to learn my conditions all over again, and I have to learn my feelings, my emotions, my triggers, my everything. I have to learn my attacks. I have to learn everything all over again because I don't see the world the same way I used to. So the darkness is not the same darkness that it used to be. Ever since I started taking this coaching path, and ever since I started working on myself and actually, doing the coaching and everything else, these last few months, I've been walking a completely different path. And that path has me see life in a completely different way than I used to. So I'm struggling with the new me because, oh my God, lifting my arm that high to just scratch my back, hurt my arm from all this excessive skin. I hate this excessive skin. But being this new, mental state and new person, technically, I don't know this person. I don't know what ticks this person, what triggers this person. I don't know how much tolerance this person has. I don't know me. I don't know me right now. I don't know the new me that I'm starting to grow into.
Well.
So I'm still learning it, but I have to go through, like I tell people, get your PhD in your own diagnosis, okay? So I have to go through my school again, school of Linette and her diagnosis, and how it looks in her and how it's going to show up in her. I have to go through all of that all over again that I went through, like you said, the grandma stage and getting out of it. I have to go through all of that again. And then re-love myself as the person that I am now again. And I'm struggling with that.
I can tell.
Because I'm struggling. I can't tell when things are happening. Remember, I had a really good handle on my emotions.
That's one thing what I mean. And another thing what I mean is, like, you do snap out of it really quick.
Yeah, but before I was catching myself before things were happening.
I know, and that's what makes it kind of worse, because it's like, since you're reevaluating yourself,